welcome. The show is in honor of. It's a show for veterans. It's about veterans, and it's for the general public to learn more about veterans themselves. With us today, we have a very special guest who's been with us a number of times before, John Bartow.
Yes, sir.
John, thank you very much for coming down and giving us some of your expertise. And, of course, co-host Paul Dietrich, who manages to keep this show rolling and coming up with the right guests for us. Okay. What I'd like to do is I would like to take just a few seconds out now and ask for a moment of silence for all of the veterans that we lost between shows. And we just recently had
in Afghanistan.
Where we lost some people. So a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Okay. John, tell us, how we doing? How's your job?
It's busy. You know, I don't think there's ever a time where we're not going to have a very significant flow of veterans coming in. And we have to adapt to that. So one of the things we're doing now is we're really concentrating on strengthening our network statewide as far as the VFW is concerned. All the different veteran service organizations try and help each other for the most part. So what we are doing as the VFW is we're trying to make sure that our service officers in the field have all the information that they need to do their job, all the resources they need to do their job. And we are also trying to increase the amount of service officers that are accredited by the VFW in New York State. So that's what our focus is on right now. And of course, serving the veterans. And I think we'll actually get into this a little bit more with Paul here in a minute.
Right.
Putting a good bit of focus on our younger veterans that are in college because they are the future of our service organization. So we want their fresh perspective. We want their youth and energy to kind of become a part of our efforts.
Replace us old farts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. And that's the best way to put it.
Well, let's shift it to Paul for a second now.
Yep.
You had something that you wanted to discuss.
Absolutely. And again, one of the most important reasons to belong to one of the service organizations, the American Legions, the VFW, is because of the lobbying that they do to improve or just keep the benefits that are already out there to veterans. And just this last week, there was a significant change to veterans' benefits for New York veterans, or actually the veterans' families. And that was with the Gold Star families' eligibility for state or city college free of charge. And there has been a benefit for a Gold Star parent when a family when the veteran was killed in combat. That was there. But this was now expanded to any active duty member who is serving. If he or she dies in the service, their family is now eligible for this additional college, free college. It's tuition and board at SUNY or CUNY. And this is a very big improvement. Again, active duty. For those that don't know, there are more veterans killed outside of the combat zone than inside the combat zone. That is just the fact of life. There are more veterans killed right now serving during training exercises, for example, than are die in combat. So this is an important benefit improvement. The other item that I have is that the VA has decided in their wisdom not to contest the court case that was decided against them with regards to Blue Water Navy veterans, some of them receiving Agent Orange benefits. And this is for those veterans who served offshore. And I believe the limit is 13 nautical miles or something like that. So, but that court case went against them, so now those veterans are also eligible for Agent Orange claims. And in my own post, I have several veterans who served on aircraft carriers, which normally stay offshore a bit, who have all of the diseases of Agent Orange, but were never eligible before because they were not on the inshore waters, and this has now been extended. So these are two very big benefit changes that are positive for veterans, and the service organizations have been in the forefront in pushing for this type of benefit expansion for veterans. That's why it's important to belong, because when you go to talk to a politician, first thing they do is they look at how many people, because that translates into votes.
That's right.
That's exactly what they're looking for.
The ratio that the politicians use is 15-1. If you go and talk to your congressman and say, this is what I want, he's looking at you as though you're 15 people. Now, if you go there with 100 people, now he's looking at you as if you're 1,500 people. And there are a lot of elections in this country that were decided by less than 1,500 votes,
Yes.
especially for Congress.
And we in the VFW in particular believe that the two most important things to our younger vets are jobs and education. And I'll pass this to John to speak a little bit about some of the items that he sees in his experience as a service officer.
What I'd like to say, and I could get in trouble for this, but I really don't care. If they can afford to give free college in New York State to everybody, including illegal aliens, okay? If they can afford to give them free college, then why can't they give it to the veterans whose family made, the ultimate sacrifice, whether it was in combat or not in combat, they made
They
the
still
ultimate sacrifice.
died or were seriously injured, yes.
Right.
That's absolutely correct.
They already have the college, they already have the teachers. They have the setup for the school. So there's no cost factor.
The governor's recent order also is only good for a year. It's good till April of next year. So we have to fight for this again going next year.
Yeah.
But to me, as you said, it's a no-brainer. The school's there, the teachers are there. So however few hundred, because you don't have that many deads or seriously injured, even in peacetime, you're talking about a few hundred families who have given the ultimate.
Exactly. And for the politician to stand up and say, "Yeah, we got it for you." Well, you didn't really get it for us. You gave us to us after the fact.
Yes.
After people started screaming that everybody in the world has got free education here, then why not the veteran?
Right.
Yes.
I'm finished lobbying for today. John, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so we'll look at both. Let's knock out Blue Water first, and then I'll go into education, because I agree. Blue Water, the House Resolution 299, as Paul said, all the service organizations were pushing for this legislation to get passed because the science was pretty much overwhelming that a lot of our sailors offshore were exposed to Agent Orange. Plus, common sense prevailed. Worldwide, the wind blows from west to east.
Right.
They were east of the Republic of Vietnam, and a lot of that particulate got into the water, therefore into the portions of the ship that changed the water over.
Condensers.
Condensers, desalinators. These guys, some of them may have had more severe exposure than some of our guys on the ground, as a matter of fact. But what's going to happen in reality? This is key for the veterans to understand. The VA, right now, it seems like they are not going to appeal the federal court decision that was made about the service connection for Agent Orange. The drop dead date for that, the limit date, is April 29th. So it's going to be at that point where the VA is going to have to respond with a plan to how they are going to service connect all these veterans. Our best guess is that they will revise the ship list. Right now, there's a list of ships that the VA maintains that demonstrate ships that were in the intercoastal waters of Vietnam, docked in Vietnam. The VA is going to have to look at that, and they're going to have to say what ships got close enough. There will be mistakes. There will be veterans that say, "Hey, I remember, we were in so close I could see people on the beach." Right? What's going to end up happening is hopefully your ship is added to the list. If it's not, we're going to have to find a way to prove that it was, and that can be done through ship's logs. There's a great resource, the National Archives maintain quite a few ship's logs. You can actually go online, you can Google ship log National Archives, and a lot of times you can actually read the deck logs from the ship, and they might comment on their position, their latitude, longitude, and that's pretty easy to determine when you have a good lat long, that ship was within the 12 nautical miles. So what does this mean for the veteran? The most important thing I would say to a veteran right now is if you were a sailor or a Marine or any service for that matter, there were Coast Guardsmen there as well. If you believe that your ship was within 12 nautical miles of the Republic of Vietnam, you want to get to any service officer, not just the VFW, this is anybody, and you want to do an intent to file. That form is called an 0966. You want to just put that in today. What that's going to do is that's going to set your date for the month of April, okay? Once the VA figures, it might be 3, 4, 5, 6 months before we have a new ship list out.
Or longer.
Or longer, yeah. But once you file that intent to file, you have a full year to put your claim in. And that's what I would advise. That way your date is set for now. You'll get the back pay. Even if it takes us till next March for the claim to be completed, you'll get your pay for the whole year. That's what we know so far about Blue Water.
The important part of that also is that's for those that were within the 12 nautical miles.
Yes.
HR 299 would extend that beyond that also.
Right, to a specific latitude,
so it's
longitude.
important that we continue the pressure on the legislators down in Washington, D.C. to still pass 299, because you don't want to have cases. I'm sorry, but I can't believe the contamination stopped at 12 miles.
Right.
I can't believe that. The stuff is soluble in water. It was in the water.
Yeah.
So it's got to have been on the other ships. Maybe not as concentrated, but it was there. And also the people that were denied that served on the Air Force bases in Thailand.
Thailand, yeah.
Because they didn't serve on the perimeter, they served on the inside of the base. And people were just denied their claims when they were testing it in Korea on the DMZ. So all of those are important in the bill to close the loop on all of those who potentially were exposed.
You mentioned Thailand. That has personal ramifications for me. My dad served in Thailand on the perimeter. It's very difficult for these guys to prove that.
Sure.
I have a previously classified report that's been declassified where we can help veterans that were in Thailand with photographs. An example would be this. If your AFSC, your Air Force specialty, was a munitions maintenance guy and you had to go to the perimeter bomb dump to get bombs, we have actual photographs of, this guy was stationed at Utapao Air Base. Here's the perimeter.
Here's the Agent Orange.
This was his job, right? And this is where the herbicide was used. So we can help you. It's very difficult. I can't wait. That's one of the things I can't wait. I hope they just square that away, because defoliating agents were used extensively around those bases.
Very well.
So we can't wait for that to be fixed.
Most of the people that were affected by that are passing anyway because of the time.
Yes.
50 years after the war.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the two most common presumptive diseases that we see, obviously shortened lifespan. The diabetes mellitus and the ischemic heart disease.
Yep.
Right.
And we do see, it's every day it's increasing. More and more veterans are passing or getting to the point where they can't maintain a quality of life.
Education.
Education. Okay, so Education, we're obviously pleased that there was a reversal of the pending legislation about the Gold Star mothers and their children. I also want people to be aware that if a veteran dies on active duty, the VA has benefits available to them too in the form of Chapter 35. It's called DIC, Death Indemnity Compensation, that the surviving spouse would receive, the children would receive while they were still dependents, and they also receive a stipend when they go to school. What's key to remember is this can be used concurrently with the New York State VTAP benefits.
So you could be going to SUNY
Yep.
on the state's dime, basically.
Yes.
And you could also get this stipend.
Yes, you would get a stipend from this Chapter 35. That stipend is also available to veterans who are service-connected at 100%, permanent and total. Their children also can get the stipend when they go to school.
Excellent.
Big takeaway with education is understanding that us as VSOs can give quite a bit of information to the veteran. Most usually it's getting them set in the right direction to find the resource. Vocational rehabilitation is wonderful, and I want to put a plug in for our VA vocational rehabilitation folks. They work extremely hard, and what they end up coming up against is that a lot of people misinterpret the VA vocational rehabilitation as a education benefit similar to the GI Bill. VA vocational rehabilitation is designed to find the veteran a job. So it is completely focused on the end result, the end product. So it's beautiful. A lot of times the veterans don't understand that, it's not there to educate you and pay you while you're going to school, even though it does. It's there to, what do you want to do? I want to be a welder. I want to be an attorney. But it spans. They have paid for programs. They've paid for people to become astrophysicists, if that's what suits it. But the goal is not the education. The goal is the job. And veterans going in, when they meet with a voc rehab counselor, it is important that they understand that. And then the fact that counselor is focused on getting this veteran employed. Paul and I talked about the New York State 55C program. It's a little known benefit that is very, very beneficial to our veterans in the state. Even a 10% degree of disability or a Purple Heart will qualify a veteran for the 55C program, and it gives them great advantages in hiring into state programs.
Do not have to take a civil service test.
Correct. And we know how a good state job can be a very stable platform for a veteran who needs stability in their life.
Jobs and education. Those
Yes.
are the two keys for a younger vet.
Yes.
The job is the same job that if they did take a civil service
Yes.
exam?
It is.
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
The only difficulty with the program has been it's very difficult to find out which jobs are 55C. And one of the things we're pushing is we would like to see when the state announces a civil service test or a civil service job opening, if this job is eligible for 55C, something that the disabled veteran could do, just put the 55C next to it.
Exactly.
Then you could look at a master roster and say, here's the 17 jobs throughout the state of New York, civil service, that are available to you looking for a job. No test.
And
I think the no-brainer here is to make sure that the veteran who's out on disability is aware that the 55C applies to him.
yes.
Yes, and that's the problem. Right now, when that list of state jobs comes out, there's no differentiation between which ones are eligible for 55C and which are not. And some jobs potentially are going to be beyond the capability of the disabled vet. Some are not. So there has to be some discriminator. We think the easiest way is just put 55C next to it. Yeah,
And if enough vets call and say, is this 55C, if they get inundated with phone calls from vets, maybe they'll just put it there.
Well, to me, it's a no-cost option because whoever's posting this on the bulletin board
letters.
would just have to put in two numbers in a letter. Sorry,
Yeah.
but This is a very easy, no-cost solution. The difficulty with 55C is since there's been 500 jobs basically were made eligible for it. They've never filled more than 100. Part of it is because nobody knows which ones they are.
Exactly.
You're guessing, and hopefully you shoot and you get the right target, but this would make it significantly easier, and that's something we're working for.
And two things I'd like to highlight with respect to New York State benefits.
Sure.
I'm older school, I guess. I don't like giving people websites and things. I like to give them concrete information. However, New York State's app and website for our veterans is actually superb. It's they have a really good website. You can tell you're in the right place. It's purple. The app is purple. It's called New York State Vets, NYS Vets. There's a wealth of information in there, ranging everything from jobs, education, down to your hunting license discount. You know, so it's a wonderful app. It's full of information, property tax exemption, so on and so forth. So that's number one. Number two would be when you're in a job search or when you're in a search for assistance for education, and you think you've hit a wall. And you've said, no, I'm not eligible for that. I was a peacetime veteran with a 0% disability rating, and I only served from 1976 to 78. There's nothing out there for me. Please don't assume that it's over. Give us a call. Let us help you. Let us figure out ways to which we can get you what you need, what you're looking for, whether it be a job, whether it be education. We can call the right people, use our resources, and you know, get you set in the right direction. The vast majority of the time, the answer is not no. The vast majority of the time, we can work with our resources and get you what you need.
Well,
How would they contact you, John, or your organization?
They can call at you want me? Would you like me to give the number?
Sure.
yeah, please.
It's area code 518-626-5687. When you call that number, you'll get a hold of Miss Destiny Ramos or myself.
Who's excellent.
Yeah, Destiny's wonderful. And what we will do at that point is most likely we'll connect you with the right resource and possibly set you up for an interview with us or with a service officer in your local area.
One thing the veterans should realize, the most valuable asset that you have as a vet, okay, is right here. The service officer, he's a wealth of information, knowledge. You know, like he just said, if you think it's all over and there's no way out for you, they'll find a way out.
We will.
They'll create a way out for you, and they work miracles. So if you don't reach out for your service officer, then you need help. That's you know.
And there's no charge for that. This is not like these ones you see advertised where, you know, we'll help you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah,
charge
but-
whatsoever. Yeah.
No.
Most of those organizations that offer to help you are going to take your back pay or whatever, or your back benefits or your benefits for so many months to cover their cost. This is done because this is what we do. This is helping vet. You don't have to be a combat vet to talk to John. He may refer you to another organization simply because they've got better assets in the area that you live. That's what they're trying to do. John comes down from Albany to the New York area. He's here today on Staten Island. So he does what needs to be done, but there might be a better service officer for you. They've still got all the same contacts, and they all talk to each other.
Plus,
Important
we want to plug people in with their county resources.
Yes.
Because a lot of times the counties are, obviously the quality varies by county, and also the county officer is going to be more familiar with transportation, benefits,
in the area.
local discounts. A lot of people have heard about the Return to Favor program, you know, and that all varies by county.
Right.
And those county service officers are really going to know how to maximize your benefits.
Our Assemblyman, Michael Cusick, has a vet discount program, again, run through the Chamber of
Right.
Commerce. And you just have to sign up, and there's a whole list of different organizations that give discounts to veterans here on Staten Island.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Easter's a big day. It's coming up here. If you go online, if you go on to military.com, you'll see Easter meal discounts.
Yep.
I know for a while there, 99 was a restaurant, right? A chain restaurant. They were
Not this
offering
area.
free Easter dinner for military families.
Yeah, who's the one at the Memorial Day?
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day.
Day. Veterans Day here. We have several
Applebee's.
and we always have a table outside because every person going in is a veteran, has a
veteran,
vet
that's
with
right.
them.
Yeah.
So here's our chance to help you.
You go to Applebee's on Veterans Day, and they're giving away breakfast.
Yep. Wonderful.
Dinner.
That's a dinner, yeah.
There's
It's
nothing
it's a
better
great
than when
thing.
the community supports their local veterans. That's what we want to see overall, and that could be a whole nother show was talking about that.
All right. What I'd like to do now is just take a few seconds out and ask James. James, can you come up here? This is James Bartow, and his dad, John, is over here. And I just want to show you, the veteran is a good parent, okay? He brings James with him on all of his trips. James is already going to be a service officer, right? The point is that veterans are just anybody else in society, and they take care of the children, and they care, and they care about you as a veteran, and all that John does is to help veterans. And thank you, James.
James is one of our older boys, and he actually got to be both a military active dependent and a veterans
So you
kid.
saw both sides.
And he's actually he flew on a C-130. He was too young to remember. He was in a car seat.
Oh,
Really?
boy.
Yeah.
They had
So-
to use car seats on C-130s?
Oh,
They
yeah.
do. Yep. They
For
have
children.
to if they're 2 or under. Yeah.
Oh. Well, John, I want to thank you once again for being here.
It's a pleasure.
I'm going to
every
ask you to come back again.
Anytime.
Because you every time you come, you have different information that's of value to the veteran who's watching.
Yes, sir. I hope
And,
so.
Or the family, in this case.
And if
particularly
you're
the family.
watching today and you're a vet, take John's advice and do what you got to do.
Exactly.
Do what you
And
got
call
to
us.
do. You call us, get your education. Take care of the blue water thing.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
File
Please.
for it. Don't wait till April 29th.
Do it
it
now.
today.
Do the intent to file.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. So, you've been watching In Honor Of. We love you for watching. Paul, as always, thank you. John, thank you so much.
You're very welcome, sir.
Okay.
Thanks, Paul.
No problem, John.
God bless. We love you for watching.